Hello everyone, welcome back to Maverick Mods. This week, got a short episode for you. Just going to work on the inner fender wells, and we're going to put the car on the ground, on its suspension, first time in who knows how many years. So, here we go. A few weeks ago, in the process of working on getting the steering column and the foot pedals set up on the firewall, I needed to actually put the inner fender well in place on the driver's side to check for clearance. Everything was fine. I didn't really show much of that because I was kind of in a hurry working on other stuff. So let's do a start to finish getting the passenger side inner fender well fit, cut to shape, and mounted. Next, I get the fender off. Most of this is just hand tight. I've had these fenders on and off so many times, kind of just gotten to the point where I'm just hanging them there without actually securing them. The inner fender well actually bolts kind of in place. There's another bracket here, I believe, goes in like that. These two little J-nuts here correspond to these two holes right here, but on the front I have an additional bracket right here, which I got to remember how this goes down here to the well, it goes in there somehow. Not quite there yet because obviously I need to relieve and cut the inner fender liner to make room for the controller. Alright, I got the plasma cutter out. Going to do this the kind of the quick and dirty way to make the initial cuts. Start with that. See what that gives me. Obviously going to need to go a lot more than that, but you know what? That's what rough cuts are for. Second cut. How much closer I got? Okay, I'm quite a bit closer, but I am going to have to trim there. Alright, we're back at it. Third attempt. Okay, I need to take quite a bit more out of that. And a little bit more out of that. And this is kind of how it works. You just kind of inch your way closer. On the fourth back and forth off and on of the inner fender well here, I've got it bolted up. I've got it mounted down at the forward portion. I've got it trimmed and bolted down here at the aft portion. That's where that extra piece fit right there. And so I've got clearance now on my suspension parts, but only at ride height. I need to make a little bit more clearance up in here so that when my suspension is at full compression, I still clear everything. I've got a jack under the lower control arm. I'm going to jack this up until I reach full travel and see where it hits and start trimming. Alright, we'll get my marker out. Okay, got it marked. Let's lower it back down, get it out of the way. I started off with the plasma cutter, finished up with the grinder. Let's see how we did. So I need just a little bit more right there. I think we'll be good. Even if I'm basically about as high as I'm going to get, even if it compressed more, I've still got plenty of clearance because the control arm is now actually, top of the control arm is now actually moving inboard. So I'm good here. Basically, I can just clean up the edges here and call this one good. Got the cutout complete for the passenger side. Control arm has plenty of clearance. Not an issue there. I'm going to work on making the same cutout and getting the Fenderwell for the driver's side finished up. We'll get those done and come back. With the last of the suspension parts done, now's a good time to mock up the entire suspension. Coilovers installed. Let's get it down on the ground, actually adjust them. This won't be the final adjustment, but we're going to play with it a little bit, set it at ride height. All right, we'll get the last of the tires put back on. We'll get this dropped down and start adjusting. Moment of truth. Good. All right, now let's go through and kind of figure out where we need to adjust these things. Once in a while, and I do this at various stages in this build and any build that I do, you just need a little, to get a little pep in your step, just kind of see how your progress is going. So this is the first time, near as we can tell, in, who knows, at least 20, maybe 25 years, this car has actually sat the way it's supposed to sit, at ride height, on its own suspension, and on its own wheels and tires. Not a whole lot to say. Like I said, we've got the coilovers in. They're not fully adjusted, but I figure we've still got, for example, at least 500 pounds of weight that still needs to go on the nose. A couple hundred still needs to go on the tail, but they're set at least to approximate ride height as the car weighs right now. But this is just, it's just a nice, it's a good way to feel like you're still moving forward on a long-term project like this. All right, well, back to work. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. And it's going to wrap it up for this year. Milestones are important, and I think we hit a pretty significant one. So where are we at and where are we going next? Well, I do have a little bit of fabrication left with the interior, but that's going to go on hold for a few weeks because my next task, if you want to call it that, is kind of finishing the body, or I should say at least aligning body panels. So I'm going to be concentrating for the next few weeks on getting the exterior where it needs to be, because to finish the interior, it is a whole lot easier to work on it when the doors are off and I've really got access to the interior. So I know that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it does to me. Anyway, I certainly appreciate everybody watching. Everybody have a great Christmas, have a great New Year's. I know I'm going to take a little time off, I think, to enjoy the holidays. I hope everybody else does. Certainly appreciate everybody watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. It does help me out. Everybody, have a great day. Hope you had a great year, and have a great new year.